Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody, welcome to Heel Heat. This is our TNA show for the week and my name is George Coles. Let's jump right into it. First off, we're going to start with the so-so segments. Basically the segments that I didn't care about, didn't like, didn't hate. Pretty much I'm going to forget by the time the next show rolls around. First thing we want to talk about is the opener with Magnus, Dixie Carter, MVP, EC3, the American Wolves. Said it before, said it again. This is only marginally better than I really want to give it. Normally I'd put this in the bad segment, but this did serve a purpose, setting up their War Games style match that's going to happen in a few weeks. So I gave it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I don't like these segments. I really wish that the major wrestling corporate companies or corporations would find a new way to start off their show. We went for decades and decades and decades not ever seeing the authority characters, and now all of a sudden it's something you have to start every week with. Just wish they would find a way to do something different, be a little more creative. Now the next thing on the so-so list is Bobby Roode's retirement, which brought out Dixie Carter, leaving him to be the leader of her team and potentially a 10% owner of TNA. The only reason this fell into the so-so department was I knew going in that Bobby Roode's not going to retire. I mean, it was just silly. It did help move the storyline on a little further. It did give us a little question, is this Roode's last time or not? But ultimately, everybody with any grain of common sense knows that Bobby Roode, one of the best guys on their roster, isn't retiring unless it's injury related right now. Now coming off of that, we're going to go right into our question of the week. Now the question of the week from last week was, who do you think will be the next first-time world champion? Mouthful being said there. First answer we got is from our friend Silver84. I think EC3 could be a TNA champion in the future. I also think Kenny King, if he moved up to the upper mid-card, could be champion. Gunner, I also think if he keeps improving, maybe he could be champ again. He has to improve where people see him as legit. Really good, strong people there, people I could see easily, coming up and doing just that, becoming champions in the future. Very good picks there, Silver84. Next is from our friend Bastards Gaming. I think the new first-time champion will be EC3 somehow. Who else is there? I mean, sure, Gunner could do it because he has money in the bank. Oops, feast or fire case. I think somehow EC3 will do it within this year. Maybe not be a long run, but it'll be a run nonetheless. So, we got 2 votes for EC3, 2 for Gunner. My pick is going to be a little bit off the beaten path here. I think Samuel Shaw could be the next first-time world champion. I think he has something. He's tapped into something that's made me really interested in his character. And I know I can't be the only one, but the weird stalker, creepy gimmick, somehow, I think this is going to turn into a superstar factor for Samuel Shaw. And I think he's going to be a guy that busts through the top of the card and becomes the next first-time world champion. I think EC3 is going to be saddled with being Magnus's lackey for the better portion of this run. Maybe him and Spud form a tag team championship run a little bit later in the year. I could see that going through. Kenny King's a good one. I have more faith in Kenny King than TNA has faith in Kenny King. I think TNA has missed the boat on the guy. I think he's an upper echelon talent that they haven't been using much. Gunner, every week that I see Gunner, he improves. So, if you catch me 3 months down the line, I think I might say it could be a lock that he'd be a champion at some point. Now, the question of the week for this week is, we've seen the promos, we've seen the creepiness or weirdness or whatever you want to call it about it. Are you guys excited to see Jeff Hardy's character Willow the Wisp, or Willow as they're calling it? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, put it down where? Down there in the comments. Now, coming off of that, we're going to go into our good section. That's right, folks, there's not a bad section tonight. Surprisingly, this was a good TNA show. We'll cover more of that when I get to the ratings on it. The first thing I want to talk about is Samoa Joe with an open challenge. Gets answered by the Bromance and Zema Ion. Joe runs through all three. Normally I would be against one guy beating not just the tag team champions, but the tag team champions and one of the #1 contenders for the X Division title. However, I think TNA has harmed Samoa Joe's character so bad that we need to see these style beatdowns of multiple people to remind us how much of a killer Samoa Joe could be when he's properly positioned within the company. And I have no problem with them using it this way. I think Samoa Joe may actually win the championship from Magnus here in a couple weeks. I think it's about time. I think, again, much like I said with Kenny King, they kind of forgot how to use Samoa Joe, forgot what they had with him, and how popular and exciting he could be. Now, coming off of that, talking about exciting, we had a no disqualification knockouts match. Madison Rayne versus Gail Kim. You had the interference from Lady Tapa, the little things. Gail Kim looks like she breaks her nose in the match. I thought it was a solid match. I really enjoyed it. It kept me interested. Gail Kim picking up the win. You know, obviously doing some heel type tactics. I thought this was a better hardcore match than one that we had a few weeks ago with Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson, which by all means should have blown this out of the water. But this held up. It's not quite as good as the match last year with Gail Kim and Tara, but you know, or I'm sorry, Tara and Terrell. Why am I thinking Tara? Either way, they both need to come back and come back soon. But good match, good solid knockouts thing. The main thing that I think TNA is starting to pick up on is that we actually do want to see good knockouts wrestling, and they're giving us more and more of that as we go through the weeks. Next thing we're going to talk about the backstage segments. A guy I mentioned a little bit ago, Samuel Shaw, and his stalking of Chrissy Hemme leads him to attacking Mr. Anderson, which knocks out Chrissy Hemme, and he somewhat kidnaps her, takes her into a room. We don't know what happens from there because he pushes the camera away. Again, I don't know what it is. It could be just a weird person I am. Could be the fact that it's not a childish storyline. Could be the fact that it's something totally new in wrestling. I enjoyed movies. I enjoyed the American Psycho movie with Christian Bale, and this reminds me of that a lot. And it also, in a way, and I think it's more of the way he dresses, reminds me of the TV show Dexter, which I also enjoyed. So I think it's a little bit tapping into all of that, you know, tapping into the weird psychological things that we have in our brains, tapping into using the stylistic look of a Dexter, which is a show I enjoy, pairing it up with something, and I know they're killers more than stalkers, but kind of gives the vibe of the American Psycho type vibe, where you have a guy that looks like he's your boy next door, every guy, pretty boy, but ends up being a murderer. In this case, a stalker / kidnapper. I enjoy where they're going with this. I'm intrigued to see where it goes every week. It's probably one of the things I look forward to most in all of the world of wrestling. Now, coming up after that, we had a tag team match. The Wolves against Bad Influence. Now, the reason this was so enjoyable to me, there's a lot of people, and I know a lot of people know who the Wolves are. They've watched Ring of Honor or the various other promotions that they've wrestled in. However, there's a lot of people that watch TNA that may have heard the name but never seen them before. You give this team instant credibility, putting them up against probably one of the better teams in TNA history in Bad Influence, and giving them a win over them. I thought it did wonders to make the Wolves look like serious wrestlers, make them look like serious threats to both the tag team championship and in the match later on in, I believe it's Lethal Lockdown. I forget what the pay-per-view is going to be called, but I'm sorry, folks. I believe it is Lethal Lockdown. It lets us see that this team isn't just some fly-by-night indie team. They are a legitimate threat. And I thought this match worked out well. I thought they left enough on the table in the match that we could go back 3-4 months from now and have the Wolves versus Bad Influence for the World Tag Team Championship in a 20-minute spectacular, which would be a little bit longer than what we had here. But I thought it was a good match, good way to introduce the TNA fans and let them know, hey, this is a team you really need to pay attention to. Coming off of that, we had the main event of the night. Gunner cashing in his briefcase, going up against Magnus. Makes it a Magnus rules match, which means, you know, all the little people get involved. Everybody gets involved. Gunner and Magnus go back and forth. The match itself was okay. I think they're taking Magnus from what his strengths are, which are he's just a really solid wrestler, and they're putting him into these gimmicky hardcore situations, which I don't think he excels in, and I don't think it's helping his character long run wise. I think if you just gave us Magnus, a guy that actually is a good wrestler and is a believable badass, instead of the wimping, cowering heel that needs the help of everybody and their mother, I think we would go further with his character in the long run. It works well with this storyline, what they're doing, but in the long run, we could have Magnus a legitimate guy in the company. Just my opinion. The thing that made this from just a so-so to a good to me was the James Storm heel turn. Now, I know a lot of people read the spoilers, but it's still kind of shocking to see a guy like James Storm, who for the past few years has been one of the faces of the company, one of the good guys, one of the guys you could rely on to do what's right, come out and turn heel. It'll be interesting to see going forward what the motivations are. I don't read the spoilers, folks, so I don't know what the motivations are. If you do, and I'm looking like an idiot, I'm sorry. Just be that way. It's just going to be that way. Get it? But I like to be surprised when I watch wrestling, and I was a little bit surprised with this, with James Storm turner. I had an inkling that's what he was doing when he was in the ring, but I thought it could be a false tease as well. Now, coming off of that, we're going to go into our ratings for the week. If you've seen the show before, you know we have a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. 1's a Garrett Bischoff, 2's a Jesse Goddard, 3's a James Storm, 4's a Christopher Daniels, 5's a Bobby Roode. A little bit torn. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5. I'm giving it a Bobby Roode. There was a lot of stuff I was really interested in on the show. I thought it kept me motivated and interested all the way through. A couple little so-so segments, but nothing really too bad. I thought altogether a good episode of TNA. And the thing that I gotta keep saying is TNA needs to build on this. They need to keep giving us back-to-back great episodes so we continue to watch, so people continue to tune in and people continue to recommend it to their friends and say, hey, look, I know you're getting disenchanted with what WWE is doing. Check out this company. Or I know you like WWE. Check out TNA. It's an alternative. But I think they're on the right path with a lot of what the new things they're doing. I just think they need to become more consistent as a company going forward. But basically, that's all I have to say about that. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.